Okay. Hello? Oh, there we go. Now you talk.
Hello.
Okay, hold on. Now you
Yeah, you're on now.
talk again.
Check, check. You're on check.
Okay. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay. Well, um,
I can hear it.
you tell me when you're ready to go by like texting me or something then. Hold on. I'm going to go back to start so people aren't listening to us. um, but yeah, go whenever you're ready, just go to start or text me that you're ready and then I'll bring you on because even with that one button you could hear yourself. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
actually like hit the button and cut you off.
I had it pulled up here. I was watching it on YouTube.
Okay. You can't hear us now, can you?
Uh, you got the buttons pushed for the microphone?
No, I mean I'm talking to you, so then that means they can still hear us.
I'm pretty sure if you ain't got the red lit up on the mics, mute the mics.
If I mute the mics, then I can't talk to you. So what I'm gonna
No,
do is I'll go ahead and start this show, and then you just text me when you're ready to come in. Does that sound good?
okay.
Okay. All right, brother.
So you want me to just call you?
You could do that too. You could call me if you want to. Yeah.
Okay. All righty.
All right, brother.
Give me about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. That sounds like
Okay.
fun.
All
All
right.
right, bam.
Bye.
Bye. Whew. Booyah. All right. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, whichever time zone you're listening in. It's Saturday, April the 15th, 2023. And I'm your host David Reagan. Jason will be calling in later on, so be stay tuned. And welcome to Paranormal 411. Hey, and if you're looking to find us, you can do that on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Paranormal 411. And remember, we're on all of your podcast platforms. Join us. All right. Hey, everybody. Sorry we're late. I'm having to do this whole show by myself, and I realize we're not set up for that. We are 110% not set up for a one-person show. We're not. So, Jason is not able to make it again this week. Everybody needs to keep him in your thoughts and everything. He will be coming on with us here in a little bit, but he is in the hospital again. And the doctors are trying to figure him out because, he is an alien. Don't let him know that I told you. And so, they're trying to figure him out and get him all tested up so they could release him from Area 51. So just don't tell him that I told you that, okay? It's supposed to be a trade secret. So just want to let you know. But he hopefully will be coming back home soon and be able to be back on the show with us again next week. Tonight, we're going to have a pretty good show, I think. We're going to talk about the paranormal, this sign that's behind me here, paranormal. We're going to talk about all things paranormal because, some people get hung up on paranormal only means ghosts, spirits, things like that. But, it actually has pretty broad meaning because when you're talking about aliens, UFOs, anything that is unknown is really paranormal. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So stay tuned. Remember, your host, David. Jason will be coming on tonight with us. He'll be calling in here in a little bit. I just got off the phone with him. Like I said, I'm sorry that I'm a little late because I'm having to figure out things that Jason normally did. So I usually do, I have half the things that I do, and then Jason has half the things that he does. And so I'm sitting over here having to figure out the shit that Jason usually does by myself. And so I had to call him up and get him to help me. And so, hey, I think we're still going to have a great show, though. And so I'm over in Jason's seat. If you can see, I'm talking on the red mic over here. My mic is empty tonight. My beautiful wife is over here kind of helping me. There she is. See, she's shy. I don't know why, but she's shy. She's acting shy. So, but I've got her over there helping me with the stuff that I normally do. I kind of got commercials and things set up, and then once I'm done, she's going to reset the commercials and stuff up for me, hopefully. But she done a good job last time she helped me. So like I said, tonight we're going to talk about the paranormal. What is paranormal? What do you think paranormal is? That's kind of a nice little topic too, right? What do you think paranormal is? And, but we'll be back right after this quick break. And like I said, maybe 10 or so minutes, Jason's supposed to call in and be part of the show. You won't see him tonight, but when we do our show next week, he should be sitting where I'm at and I should be back where I'm at. Things will look a little bit more normal. Maybe, this behind me will look a little bit better too. Cause I'm not so used to messing with the settings on getting the backgrounds good and stuff, but I guess it looks okay. So, like I said, tonight we're talking about the paranormal. What is paranormal? And we will be back right after this quick break. Remember, your host is David Reagan. Jason Scott will be calling in here in a little bit. You're listening to Paranormal 411. We'll be back in a minute.
In a world on the edge of oblivion, go to paranormal411.org for all of your paranormal, extraterrestrial, and cryptid needs.
Hey, this is Eddie from Legends and Lore Pizzeria, and I listen to Paranormal 411. Love y'all and keep it squatchy.
Thanks for listening to the show. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Paranormal 411. Join us on the website at paranormal411.org. It's free to sign up and become a member. All of our upcoming shows are on the guest and events page. You can also listen to past shows on the website as well. And if you like the show and want to support us, you can do that by becoming a premium member for only $2 a month. Thanks for listening to Paranormal 411. Join us.
Hey, this is Eddie from Legends and Lore Pizzeria in Madisonville, Tennessee. Cool little pizza shop with a paranormal and cryptid theme. Just voted best pizza in Monroe County. Follow us on Facebook at Legends and Lord Pizzeria to get the latest updates and hours, specials, and new menu items.
This is Jeff Reagan of the band Catalyst. Visit Paranormal 411. Click on our link on the right-hand side to listen to or purchase any of our albums on BandLab.
All right. That was a great little quick break. We want to thank all of our sponsors. And also want to thank Jeff and the band Catalyst, Mike and Chris and Brian and everybody from the band Catalyst for allowing us to play their music. Also want to thank John Sieber on the beginning. Part of that beginning is some of his music. And you could find him in Spirals on YouTube. And so definitely check them out. Also want to thank Legends and Lore Pizza for their awesome pizza and their great friendship. You know, they have really good pizza. If you ever go there, I definitely am going to tell you that you need to ask Eddie some questions, especially if you love the paranormal. Anything. He does it all. So definitely talk to him about some paranormal, because he'll definitely talk to you about it. Hey, Susan, how you doing? Michelle says hi back. She's being shy again. And so we're kind of talking about what is paranormal, because a lot of people When they hear the word paranormal anyway, they think of ghosts, right? They think of these shows like, that Zach Bagans is on and Ghost Hunters and all these other ghost shows. The word itself, that's what they automatically comes to mind is ghosts, hauntings and things like that. But really the word encapsulates anything, right? It encapsulates UFOs, aliens, abductions. I mean, you want to name the gambit from one end to the other. It covers every bit of it. And so, it's funny because when you do say paranormal, people don't think about ESP. They don't think about people, that do all kinds of other things. Yeah, see, Susan, you're right. Cryptids. All these things are in the paranormal realm because it's paranormal, not normal, right? It's other than normal. And, or at least what we believe is normal because, hey, get it right. And we definitely think that we are the top of the food chain when it comes to a lot of stuff. And, it's funny because Gallup actually did a poll and they actually said that 3 in 4 Americans actually believe in the paranormal. What do you think about that? And I'm reading from the Gallup poll right now, and it's kind of cool. So Gallup News in Princeton, New Jersey. So they're saying that 3 in 4 Americans profess that at least one paranormal belief. So according to the recent Gallup survey, the most popular is ESP. So 41% of people in this poll mentioned ESP. And see, that's something that a lot of people don't think of when you're talking about paranormal, right? Is ESP, people who could remote view and things like that. That's all covered under the umbrella of paranormal. So, I mean, and like Susan said, cryptids, when you think of Bigfoot, Chupacabra, and all the myriad of other cryptids that's out there, they're all paranormal. Until we get a body or we get something else, it's not normal. It doesn't fall under the umbrella of normal. So like I said, 41% says ESP. Then you have 37% that says houses can be haunted. So that goes back to the shows, right? To, Ghost Hunters and all those shows like that. And tons of people, I have to say that Ghost Hunters is what brought it into the forefront and into the mainstream. I remember when it first came on Sci-Fi Channel, I was a big fan. I watched every episode. I was like, what? Did you see that chair move? I mean, did you hear that EVP? That was awesome. And when they got more technical and started getting FLIR and things like that, that's what made it more mainstream. It made it okay. Susan says she loved the Ghost Hunters also. It made it okay to start talking about it. People weren't, like, oh, you're weird. You're one of those weirdos, huh? But you believe aliens are real too, Do you have a tinfoil hat? They actually brought that stuff into the forefront. And, it's like Cliff Barrickman and all of them, when they had their show that came out, they brought Bigfooting out for everybody and made it mainstream, right? Where now you could talk about some of these cryptids and you're not quite a weirdo. Same thing with UFOs that are happening now, right? Right now, as we are talking, our government is literally saying that there's things flying in our skies. They don't know what they are. Just 5, well, it'd be more than that now because I think that started since 2016. So, but before that point, they'd have called you a kook and all kinds of other stuff, and tried to dismiss you, but now it's come up into the forefront. So, you had these people that started bringing these things out to the forefront to where it allows everybody like you and I to start talking about these subjects more openly without all the ridicule, right? I mean, you're still going to get it. It's still going to happen. You've still got the people who don't believe, and that's fine. That's cool. Just don't rain on my parade. I won't rain on yours. And, but it's funny because the paranormal is just that, right? Just things that are not normal. Another thing that they said is that, or another thing that happened in that poll is that they said that ghosts of spirits of dead people can come back in certain places and situations. That's another thing that 32% of the people said is very possible. That's pretty crazy, right? So, anybody that follows ghost hunting and ghost, all those kinds of things, we all have our own belief systems and ways of looking at things. But one thing is between all of us is that we all do believe that the spirit, the soul, the energy, whatever you want to call it, can still reside here and haunt places. And, not only can a spirit haunt a place. Uh-oh. Oh, hey, guess who's calling? It's Jason is coming. Well, hello, Mr. Jason. How you doing?
Hello.
Woo! Everybody, we got Jason on the line.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here.
Everybody's been waiting to hear from you, Jason.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a rough road.
Right.
But
yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, I told everybody hopefully next week we'll be able to have a show here at the bunker. You'll be here under the red microphone and I'll be back under the orange microphone, and things will actually get started on time and probably look better than it does now, but hey.
You done good.
Susan says, "Hey, Jason."
Who?
Susan.
Hey, Susan. I'm in the other place getting dejuicified.
Well, I told them that that I may get in trouble for telling people, but that you're an alien and they've got you in Area 51 right now doing tests. And
I know, right?
And I know I shouldn't have said that, but
I was trying to find home and my finger got stuck in the balcony.
Oh God. So what do you think about paranormal? When someone says paranormal, Jason, what do you think?
Paranormal?
Yeah.
What was the question again? I forgot. I didn't even hear you.
I said, when someone says like paranormal, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it just ghosts and stuff, or
the first that I see is usually spirits? Yeah, ghosts.
Yeah, I think that's a universal thing. I think most people do, sit there and they're like, first thing pops in their head, ghosts, spirits.
Yeah, that's probably one of the top paranormal categories. But we did find out what extra sensory perception is number one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy too. ESP being 41%. That's crazy. That's a pretty high number.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think of ESP when I think of paranormal.
That's the last thing I would think of. But I was reading earlier when we decided to do something that you remember Edgar Mitchell, right?
Yes.
The astronaut. when he got back from the moon, well, on his way back, he started conducting psychic experiments.
Okay.
And when he got back, he founded some psychic group. I don't know why he would do that after going to the moon. It's kind of odd.
Do you think that, I mean, could something like that be I mean, we'll say it for broad terms, but a religious experience? He just left his home planet, got to see this little blue ball go away from him and him land on a different planet. So he actually had some kind of an epiphany and was like, hey, I need to start studying some of this other stuff.
Yeah, I think it changed his life.
I could see how it could, though. I mean, you just left home planet and you're, if something happens, you're gone, man. You're gone.
Yeah. And he had become the extraterrestrial when he left. So
exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird that he would find a group, I forget what the name of it was, but he's even on the board of Robert Bigelow's big companies.
Yeah, he was part of NIDS, wasn't he? Robert Bigelow's NIDS. That's the same people who was out there that he got together to do Skinwalker Ranch, was NIDS.
Yeah. I think, when he seen all that he could see outside his box, that maybe paranormal is real.
Yeah.
Maybe all this stuff is real.
Right. Yeah. Susan's saying that it probably made him feel small and insignificant. That's probably true. And I think that also, I mean, I can't speak from experience because I'm not like you and an extraterrestrial and have lived here, but I think that you would also have to, when you go on a journey like that, you have to look inward and see that how vulnerable you're going to be and how short life is, and actually realize that, in a blink of an eye, it's all gone, and you could be gone in just a minute, and there's nobody out there to help you, and I think that would move you to feeling that way.
I think a lot of people that have these experiences for the first time, it really changes the way they think about stuff.
Yeah.
You take Winston Churchill. Have you heard the story he had?
No.
After the war, he was visiting the White House, and
was that the one where he saw Abraham Lincoln?
Well, I don't know if it was Lincoln. Yeah, it was Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and tell the story. Go ahead and tell the story.
After taking a long bath and a scotch and a cigar, Churchill reportedly walked into the bedrooms, because they're kind of adjoining. The bedrooms adjoining. He walked into another bedroom, and he said that he met the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember. Go ahead.
He said even, while I was naked, he was naked when he met. I just got out of the bath, and Churchill announced that, he said, "Good evening, Mr. President. Yeah. You seem to have me at a disadvantage."
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just about to say. I mean, he was so present that he knew who the ghost was and was like, "Excuse me, you've got me at a disadvantage." And I think that's pretty fascinating story,
Yeah, and they said the Abraham Lincoln just smiled and just vanished.
Uh, See, I mean, and then that shows you, like they were saying on this that 37% of people say that houses can be haunted, right? Well,
Yeah.
that's the White House, and that White House has actually been burnt down before,
Oh yeah.
and rebuilt and everything. And could you imagine the energy that's stored in that place from all the decisions that these people have to make on a daily basis, from the time they start to the time they're done with their duty? Probably 90% of it, no American ever even knows about. What kind of imprint they're leaving upon that place, that more than likely at some point their energy's still going to be there, and 200 years from now someone's going to see them there,
Well, yeah, we probably don't know even a smidget of what's went on in this world, but they do know.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then all that strife and feeling of angst and everything gets trapped in those walls, and
Yeah.
and then it creates those ghosts that we see, and which I think that the majority of them, are like a movie playing. They just roll on and don't know you're there or nothing. They're just there. But that one actually sounded like it was intelligent, because it actually smiled at him and stuff.
Yeah, he smiled at him and told him, and all that. That would be pretty neat, though, wouldn't it?
It would be neat. Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. President. You seem to have me at a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. 31.
So what do you?
Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead. I was going to ask you what was next. So.
Oh, I was just going down through here, and I was just saying that 31% of the people also believe that telepath communication between minds without using traditional senses. So that 31% of the people believe in telepathy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
I've had a few times that I've convinced myself I was telepathic.
Well, I mean, maybe you were. I think
Because
I do believe we're all of one mind, and
yeah, we're just part of some big operation going on somewhere else.
right. I think that in the grand scheme of things, we are all part of the same being. We're all the same. So you, me, everybody that listens to this, everybody in the world, we're really the same. We're just different expressions of the same being. And, that might be getting deep, but I think that, being telepathic, I think it's born into everybody. I just think that we shove it off at a young age and disregard things like that.
I'm kind of liking this oxygen they're giving me. I'm thinking a little better.
Heck yeah. Michelle said maybe we're like trees and have connected roots.
Yeah.
Mycelia does that, right? So mycelia grows, and it's actually what goes underneath the soil. And it's really what feeds the plants. When you think you're watering and feeding your plants, you're not. The trees or plants, all life, what it does is it grows and then it produces sugars, right? That you see. That's why the plants turn green and everything. And they produce sugars. And what they do is they feed these sugars to the mycelia. And there's a network of mycelia under the ground. And that mycelia actually goes and grabs the nutrients for these plants.
Yeah.
And science has actually shown that there is millions of miles in just, well, I'll say thousands of miles of network in the dirt of mycelia that literally works like a network, like a computer network, under just a few feet of soil. And on this topic, it's really funny because I've been doing a lot of study on mycelia and stuff because, you know, if you grow plants and stuff, you kind of need to know what mycelia is. And, you know, during this study, I've noticed that, or I've read a bunch of things, and they've actually found the oldest organism in the world, and it dates back over 2 million years. They've found it, and it is a fully formed mushroom. Over
Wow.
2 million or 2 billion, I'm sorry, 2 billion years old. The planet's only like 4.5 billion years old. And it was like 2 point something billion years old, and it was a fully formed mushroom. And they're thinking that that was the first thing that really started terraforming this planet.
Mushrooms?
Mushrooms, yeah. Yeah, mycelia. Absolutely, yes. Yep. And people were like, man, you're getting on mycelia, and we're talking about telepathy. But, you know, when you're talking about plants and things that are able to talk to each other and all this other stuff, where we think that plants and animals and things like that are dumb, they've actually got a network that they're able to talk to each other. And we've actually got studies on our own that have shown that ESP is a real thing, that people do have the ability to talk to other people over distances, you know? Susan says that she believes that all life force is able to, or is connected, plants, animals, humans, and everything. And I believe that. I do.
Yeah.
But I think telepathy. So what made you think that you were telepathic, Jason? I'm pretty interested in this.
I don't know. Just sometimes when I was younger, I would just think of something, like I think of a song, and then it would come on the radio.
Okay.
And I could say, hey, it's just weird. I felt like I knew what was happening before it happened.
Okay. So ESP.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. And so what do you think happened to make you where you stopped feeling that way?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess the older I got,
the more you tried to rationalize things?
Yeah, maybe I just got used to some ways that was put in my head and
you know,
that need to be released.
Well, you know, I think that's...
You all when you grow up, you're basically, what you're taught when you're young stays with you for a while until you get old enough to realize that this just ain't right.
Right.
You know?
Yep. And that's what I've been telling some people here lately is you can't rationalize everything. So stop rationalizing. If I have something that I could probably put on a bumper sticker, that's what it would be, right? Do not rationalize everything, because not everything can fit in a box. Especially when you're talking about the paranormal, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can't be put in a box. Do not rationalize it. And I think that that's part of the problem with human nature and stuff like that, is that we try to rationalize it. So then that way we're not perceived as crazy. We're not that weirdo that believes in these weird things, right? Oh, I rationalize. Oh, it was swamp gas. We can't rationalize things because not everything's able to be rationalized. And I think that's how we lose some of our abilities. I think when we were hunter gatherers, I think we had abilities we don't have today because we didn't rationalize it. It was normal, right? There wasn't no one saying, "Well, you're weird because you could read my mind," or you know what I mean? Like, I just think that that because we have grown in technology, we think that that's the right way and that's the only way. But the older I'm getting, I'm actually going the opposite direction. I think we were doing better when we were hunter gatherers than we are now.
You know, I've got so much time here. I was watching something earlier today. The Earth, you said, was what, 4 billion?
Yeah, like 4.5 billion years old.
And there's some theories out there that there's been six civilizations that have come up and been pretty sophisticated.
Yes.
Like I would say we're sophisticated, but these other ones, they've come up about the same way we have. Is what I was watching. There were 6 of these that happened, and since the Earth, has been here 4 million years, 6 of them have came and gone, completely wiped out, started over from the Stone Age.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
I think it's possible. I mean, I think that we've already lived through one, right? Just 12 million or 12,000 years ago. I think we lived through one, right? With the end of the Younger Dryas and everything, and the cataclysm that flooded the earth. And you've got all the tales from North American Native Americans to, the biblical tales, and even earlier than the biblical tales with what is that? The Mesopotamians. And, and so I think that we have, and the Hopi Indians have said that this is like the 4th or the 5th age or something. So even some of the Native American tribes know that the earth has been destroyed more than one time.
Yeah. So, I mean, all the unknown that we know all ties into me. It ties into, if we don't know, if it's unknown, it's paranormal, I think.
Right.
It can't give a good excuse for why it's happening. Yep. Or prove that it's just science doing something.
Yep.
I mean, you might have heard it's gotten quiet here and you hear a little dinging. I think the fire alarm's been tripped.
What?
Yeah.
Area 51 fire alarm's been tripped?
I think the alien just...
they're coming to try to break you out, aren't they?
I grabbed the dadgum doctor and put him up against the glass.
Oh, no.
Said,
let me out.
Me. I watched that today, too.
Did you? Have you ever seen part 2?
Yeah, I watched it, too.
Did you? I don't think it was as good as the first one.
It ain't.
The first one was just epic. Second one was okay. Yeah.
Then I watched 2012 earlier.
Oh heck, boy, you've been getting a lot of good stuff while you're in Area 51 over there getting worked on, I guess. What was that?
I said, yeah, they're doing their job over there.
Well, as long as you're not getting probed. Susan also says she thinks when you're younger, you have a stronger connection to things. And then as you grow older, you lose that connection. And that kids see things that we don't. I do believe that, but I think that a lot of the times the reason people, as they grow older, lose that connection is because society, and usually your family, downplays what it is that you're seeing, talking about. You know, I had the thing of, you know, I didn't have a great childhood, but one thing that I never got ridiculed on was the fact that from an early age I could see ghosts and stuff. You know, I think that that plays a big role in whether that continues to an older age or not, is how your family perceives it and then how they react to it to make you, you know, feel that, oh, well, this must not be right. You know, like when kids say that they have a friend and they're talking to them and then you're like, oh, it's just imaginary. It's an imaginary friend. Well, okay. I mean, cool. You know, but not always do I really think that that's an imaginary friend.
Right. I want to read this quote. I don't know who said it. They don't tell who said it. But it says, we create beliefs because we don't like believing that the universe is random.
Right. Oh, no, because everybody wants to see, and I think it's in human nature, right? That's why they have pareidolia and things like that. We always want to see patterns. Our brains are wired to see patterns. And that's why pareidolia.
Would you consider that paranormal?
What, pareidolia?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, because like pareidolia and stuff like that is the brain perceiving random patterns as faces and things like that, where there's really nothing there.
Okay, so you're saying that pareidolia could be causing people to see stuff like ghosts and
right
faces. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Right, where a lot of people will see, you know, like you get on online and stuff on Facebook a lot and stuff where people will be like circling something like, look, Bigfoot's right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you see tons of those and it's like,
where?
Yeah, I don't really see it. Even with it circled, I really don't see it. But it's pareidolia, I think, a lot of it. Now, do I believe Bigfoot's real? Yeah, I really do believe Bigfoot's real because I had an encounter.
Yep.
And I wouldn't expect anybody to believe me because, you know, hey, it's my encounter. But, you know, pareidolia is real. Audiodolia or something like that. I don't think I said that right, but you know, when we talked last about the backward messages and stuff like that, that's actually a real thing where your mind will try to make sense of and you know, so these things are just sometimes the way our brain is wired.
That's just like if you call an EVP and you go ahead and tell me what it says, I'm going to hear that.
Right. Exactly. Because now I'm telling you, hey, this is what I believe. And that's why, you know, look, you and I have caught some good EVPs before.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it that we had an A+.
Yeah. Yeah. Multiple times, right? 2 or 3 of them. And
no doubt of what. Oh,
exactly. You didn't have to say nothing, didn't have to put words on the screen. You could hear it. And that's what I'm saying with some of that stuff is like, if it's questionable, then let's leave it into the questionable bin. Because when you start trying to put that in with everything else, then people who don't really believe are going to look at you and say, well, you just, you know, you think everything sounds like aliens did it, right? Like we have a very medicated populace and certain medications numb you to the real world, you know, and I think that they stop the flow of energy coming into you and out of you properly. And so I think that, that definitely has a reason of why people, from a young age to old, they did when they was kids, because they become numb to it by the medication. I think that's a thing. Susan says she agrees with us. I don't know.
When I was younger, I had a lot of things happen to me that probably was paranormal, but I didn't perceive them to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still stuck on. I've yet to see a ghost or Bigfoot or alien, but I still believe in it.
Well, you and I have had a pretty crazy encounter with a light in the sky when we first started doing this show in 2012. If you remember, we came out of my house that night and some crazy big old beautiful white light moved really, really fast across the sky. Remember that night?
Oh yeah. Won't forget that.
Yeah, I think that's very paranormal because it definitely wasn't an airplane, because it moved way too fast to be an airplane. And the light was too perfect. And then when it got, it was going west to east, and when it got a little ways east, it just kind of blinked out. If you remember, it just kind of, it blinked, and then was gone. It was like, that was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, can we say that it's UFO for sure? No, but it was definitely, it was unidentified to us, and it was flying. Hey, Jason, let's take a quick break. You want to?
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break. Do you have anything to tell everybody before we go to break?
No, I mean, I can't think of nothing right off the top of my head except keep us in your thoughts.
Yes, keep Jason in your thoughts and everything. That he's safely returned from Area 51 and he's not probed too many times.
I am. I'm feeling a lot better, guys. I hope it continues, and I appreciate everybody for thinking about me.
Well, everybody loves you, man. And remember, we do have a book, East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore. Where can they find that, Jason?
We need to sell one off Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, please help us sell some books. That'll help Jason with his medical bills.
Yeah.
We're gonna start doing, what was that they used to do all the time? Those telethons. We're gonna start us a telethon.
Yeah. We could do a telethon, couldn't we?
Yeah, do us a Jason needs some extra money telethon to help pay these damn medical bills.
Yeah, Jason's kids.
I love it.
Anyway, what I was going to say about the book, we need to get some of them sold because it is a good little book. I hope the people that got it enjoyed it because, you can take it to the bathroom with you and read it. It's a good book.
It is. Susan said, bring some of them to Legends and Lore and they'll sell them for us.
We're supposed to have a big book signing down there.
We are. We need to get that done sometime.
We got the Bigfoot convention coming up.
Yes, we do. Woo! This is what, year 5, year 6? This is, I think it's year 5, 5th year.
Yeah.
So, well, love to see everybody there. We'll have these books out ready to sign for everybody.
May have another little book since I got a lot of time.
Well, that would be nice. I'm still writing mine, but I think it's going to be a 150, 200 pager maybe.
Yeah, I'm more of a short story kind of guy.
Right. But yeah, everybody, definitely keep Jason in your thoughts and everything. And Remember, we do have a book, East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore. And we are on all of your favorite podcast platforms. And we will be back right after this quick break.
In a world on the edge of oblivion, go to paranormal411.org for all of your paranormal, extraterrestrial, and cryptid needs.
Hey, this is Eddie from Legends and Lore Pizzeria, and I listen to Paranormal 411. Love y'all and keep it squatchy.
This is Jeff Reagan of the band Catalyst. Visit Paranormal 411. Click on our link on the right-hand side to listen to or purchase any of our albums on BandLab.
Hey, this is Eddie from Legends and Lore Pizzeria in Madisonville, Tennessee. Cool little pizza shop with a paranormal and cryptid theme. Just voted best pizza in Monroe County. Follow us on Facebook at Legends and Lore Pizzeria to get the latest updates and hours, specials, and new menu items.
Thanks for listening to the show. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Paranormal 411. Join us on the website at paranormal411.org. It's free to sign up and become a member. All of our upcoming shows are on the guest and events page. You can also listen to past shows on the website as well. And if you like the show and want to support us, you can do that by becoming a premium member for only $2 a month. Thanks for listening to Paranormal 411. Join us. I want to thank everybody that stuck around. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Shell. There's another viewer on there too that I don't know who it is. They haven't talked at all tonight. But thanks everybody for coming on. I'm going to bring Jason back on. What's up, Jason?
What's up?
So we kind of left off at, where did we leave off? Clairvoyance? No, we left off at telepath.
Yeah, telepathy.
So the next one is 26% said clairvoyance. So the power of the mind to know the past, present, and future. What do you think about that? Clairvoyance.
That's something that's gone back for ages.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you got these tribes, that they had people that could tell the future, and even the Vikings. They had what would you call them? I don't know what you call them, but a seer
Yes.
that would tell the kings and all the high up people if they're going to have boys, girls, or what's happening. I mean, it goes back a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. And even, when you go all the way back to, Troy and anything back there, they also had those seers that were usually they were in caves, and they found out that a lot of these caves had these fumes that would put them in these trances and stuff, and they would go and see the future or things like that, and people would go to them to ask them questions. And I think clairvoyance, I think it would be an awesome gift to have.
Yeah.
Hey Eddie, Eddie's on. What's up, Eddie? How you doing?
Eddie.
I think that clairvoyance would be one of those that would be pretty awesome. I think that I don't know, back in the day, I think it would be pretty crazy because you'd have people, probably kings and queens and stuff like that that'd be on you all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
But it's funny because you have like in the Midwest, you have the Hopi Prophecy Rock, and it's pretty cool how I think it was hundreds at least years ago, if not maybe 1,000 years ago, but they had put on that rock what now today it really looks like a train going across the savannah, which didn't even exist back then, right? And all these other things that they predicted, which shows, and I think gives some credit to, the ability to have clairvoyance or that it really does exist. Yeah. And I mean, like you said, throughout time, you see where this has been used. I mean, even if you read the Bible, right? Revelations is just one whole book of supposed clairvoyance, right? Of someone telling us what the apocalyptical future is going to be.
Right.
Nostradamus, everybody that's listening to this program, I'm sure has heard of Nostradamus. I mean, everybody loves listening to it. And, again, there's clairvoyance.
Yeah, clairvoyance is pretty interesting.
Edgar Casey, I think, is one of the best documented clairvoyance that there was. He had a lot of things that he predicted that came true, and a lot of things that he was able to do as far as go in and medically help heal people. So I don't know. I think that there's, just like what we was talking about with telepathy, I think that there's just as much evidence of it out there as anything else.
Yeah. I mean, you got a lot of evidence of paranormal, and I just, especially in the spirit realm, there's a lot of evidence, and it's good evidence.
Yes.
I don't know why the percentage that we see don't believe it.
They're trying to use their rational mind. You can't rationalize it. I'm telling you, I'm going to make a bumper sticker. You can't rationalize it. Do not rationalize it, because it's true. You can't rationalize that stuff. The next one is 25% of the people talk about astrology, or that the position of stars and planets can affect people's lives. That's as old as written history anyway. I mean,
Oh yeah.
as old as written history, you have people looking at the stars and seeing the
Yeah, that's
migration
all.
and the movement of the stars.
That's just like me sitting here watching TV all day.
Right.
If I was back in that day, I'd be watching the sky all day.
Exactly. Right. You know, if you weren't the hunter or the gatherer, then you were probably a shaman or whatever. And what was your job? I mean, your job was to try to be clairvoyant and know what's going to happen. You have to be able to look at the stars, know, hey, winter's about to come. We've got to start storing food. Just all these different kinds of things. And so I think that stargazing is definitely a real thing. We do moon water here at the house. So we even like to open the hot tub up on full moons and try to make full moon water of the hot tub.
Huh.
It's supposed to be healing and everything and stuff. So it's kind of neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
21% of the people believe in witches.
Believe in what?
Witches.
Witches.
Yes, witches. What do you think about that, Jason?
I've met a few. Oh, that's the other one. Wrong spelling. I'm sorry. Well, you know, you got your good witches and you got your bad witches.
Right. I think, you know, witchcraft in its own isn't a bad thing anyway, because most of it is earth magic. And, you know, it's using plants, herbs as medicines. And that's something that dates back, you know, to prehistory. And,
you know, but a lot of times, some of them get carried away and go to the dark side.
Yes. Yeah, it can happen. I mean, you look in, even in Native American lore and stuff like that, and when they talk about the skinwalkers and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, that's a, you know, the dark side of that, I guess. You know, one part of the dark side of that, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I can't say that I've ever met a skinwalker or met a bad witch, but I do know that witchcraft in its own is not the same. Susan says she believes in witches. I do too. I believe in witches.
We did a show a while back on. She's a good witch.
She's a good witch.
But, you know, remember the show we did on zombies?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, that was actually witches.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Voodoo and...
rob the graves of the body, and the witches would turn them into slaves.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, voodoo is something that, I mean, practitioners and stuff like that will... You know, they supposedly have the ability to make you a mindless zombie. And we even told stories during that show, you know, about, you know, some of that one guy that had died, they buried him. And like 20 years later, he comes back off of a plantation to his home, you know.
Crazy.
Everybody thought he was dead.
Pet Cemetery.
That's, ooh, I like Pet Cemetery. That was a good movie. You know, 20% of the people that were polled also believed in reincarnation.
Wow.
That the soul is reborn after death or sometime after. I don't think it's immediately after death, but that it is reborn after death.
Hmm.
You know,
You say 20%?
20%. Yeah, of people that were polled in this Gallup poll believed in reincarnation.
So I wonder for the 59%, what part of the world they live in
You know,
that don't believe.
I would say a good portion of them were probably here in the Bible Belt.
That's what I was going to
say. Or they were devout Catholics, you know. But you know, I believe that we do come back. Susan says, "What about vampires?" She also believes in incarnation and has read several articles about it. Yeah, vampires. That's another thing that's you know, right up there. I mean, there's even. Do you have? I'm trying to remember what show or what it was on. If it was on Amazon Prime or one of my other dang streaming shows that I have, but there's one on there that's about these guys in America that are hunting witches or that are hunting vampires from the old world. And they believe vampires are real, and they've got these things where they're showing how they're migrating around and all the missing people and all this other stuff correlates with vampirism and stuff. And I was like, all right, this is definitely different. Yeah, I think I only watched a couple of episodes, and I don't know if they got taken off the air or what happened, or, you know, that's all they did. I don't know, but there's only like a couple of episodes of it anyway. So, but I definitely tried to watch it because I was like, hey, this is something different. It's pretty cool. And, but there's a guy that was with an American guy, and he was from the old world, and he was taught by his father about them over there. And his father was a person that hunted vampires overseas. And then he taught this guy, and them two were going out trying to find vampires here in America. That was the guys at the show. Yeah. It was fascinating. That's what I'll say. It's pretty fascinating.
Well, you know, there's got to be something to it for people to, even as far back as it went, to go out and hunt a vampire.
Right.
Something had to be wrong for them to do that.
Well,
and we can talk about Vlad.
Yes.
But, you know, I'm not so sure how he got considered to be a Dracula.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, he was, you know, a pretty gruesome guy.
Blood-hungry warmonger.
Yeah, exactly. Now his people, though, still to this day, he's a national hero. There's monuments to him over there and stuff, but, you know, I don't know. I mean, like you said, I think that there's a grain of truth in everything, and a vampire-like creature has been around in multiple civilizations across time. So, I mean, do I think that there was ever anything, or still maybe? Maybe, you know. I can't really say that it's a subject that I've done a lot of research in, but I mean, I think it's possible. It's just like you know, lycanthropy, right? Being a lichen, you know, a man turning into a beast, usually a werewolf, and you know, the stories of that have been around for thousands of years. You know, even in the Americas, when you talk about, like we was just talking about a minute ago, where we was talking about the skinwalkers, right? I mean, almost the same thing, right? Where it's a person that could turn into animals. So, I mean, stuff like that has been around forever.
Yep.
Yeah, Susan says his name is Dracul, which means son of the dragon, Vlad the Impaler. And that's what he was known for, was impaling. He would impale thousands of people down the roadways and stuff. And he got so good at it that he could impale somebody with a stake and hang them there, and they could be alive for like a few days before they died. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then he'd just leave them there till they rotted off of the damn thing. But it was just mostly an intimidation factor, right? To try to say, hey, don't come here because look what we do, you know? But I don't know. I think it's crazy. Dracula. Vampires. It's funny how over the years, though, when we talk about stuff like Dracula and things like that, how when, you know, back when we first started hearing about these creatures and everything, that they were ugly and these vile creatures and they sucked blood, and then how over the years it's morphed into these beautiful creatures that, you know, and I think that,
Sparkly.
yeah, I mean, all the way up to now, yeah, where you've got sparkly vampires, right? They walk outside, they don't burst into flames, they just sparkle like they've been bedazzled. It's bedazzled vampires. You know, I mean, it's funny to look at how things like that start changing throughout history. That's
when I think of a vampire, I usually think, when I think of vampire, I think of a bat. For some reason, just that's what I think about, a bat. Now, I'm not so sure that they can turn into bats.
Right. Well, you do have vampire bats right there, blood drinking bats out there.
Yeah, but they're not 6 foot tall.
No, they're little bitty things, razor sharp teeth, and they do have almost the same thing in their saliva, that when they cut open, because it's usually cattle that they attack, that they could go and creep up by their feet and stuff and cut them and drink their blood, and the cow doesn't even know that it's happened to it, because of the, you know, the stuff that's in the saliva just keeps the blood flowing, keeps it from coagulating, but it also numbs the pain too. It's crazy how, you know, things adapt to those kinds of things. Michelle also says, and this is kind of funny, but it's true, because, you know, that there's different types of vampires. You have the blood drinking vampires, and you have an energy vampire. And then she says one that takes kids' energy. I don't remember that one. But I do remember an energy vampire, because there's people, and I've seen some shows, and William Shatner might be one of the shows that I watched that had one of these on there, but I think it was Florida or somewhere that had these coven of vampires, and they were energy vampires, and that they took people's energy. They didn't drink blood or nothing. I think that there's some people that tend to be blood drinking, and they, you know, do some weird things like that. But I have heard of energy vampires before. I think that there's people who are naturally energy vampires. Have you ever been around somebody that after about 30 to 45 minutes, you just get freaking tired as hell being around them?
Yeah.
They're taking your energy, and they may not even know they're doing it, but they're taking your energy, and that's why you're getting drained. And I think that there's people out there that are like that just, they don't even know that they do it.
No.
Which is crazy. So we talk about reincarnation. I do believe in reincarnation now.
Yeah.
Then there's only 9% of people believe in channeling. So someone that allows a spirit to temporarily control their body. But what's funny about that is that they're not giving. So channeling is more than just allowing someone to control your body, because when you mess with the Ouija board or anything like that, that is a form of channeling. You're allowing a spirit to take control of you, to move that planchette and stuff like that. So, channeling isn't just what we see in the movies where someone, a ghost goes into somebody, like the movie Ghost, right? Where the ghost goes in somebody and can talk and move and do things like that. What do you think? Do you think that channeling is real?
Oh yeah, I think people can do that. I think that the spirit actually, when you talk about a spirit going into somebody, I think they need that person to do that with, to communicate with what they want to say.
Right.
And I do believe that it happens a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like the movie Ghost.
Right. Exactly.
Goldberg.
Oh, Whoopi Goldberg.
It may not be extreme, but still.
Well,
I believe it happens.
You watch these shows, like the one that we both watched and thought was freaking pretty good show that was on this last year, the Ghost of Devil's Perch.
Oh yeah,
and that Cindy Kaza, and I'm probably gonna butcher her last name, but anyway, the psychic that's on the show, and she does that automatic writing. Well, that is a form of channeling. She's allowing that spirit to come into her and do the automatic writing, and stuff like that. And I find, I'm a skeptic when it comes to a bunch of things. I really am. I'll look at people sideways like, I think you're faking. But I think that it does exist and it is real, and I don't know if it's as prevalent as all the people who, say they can do it, but the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah. I think some of the people that claim to be are not really that.
Right. That's true.
There's still some out there that's genuine, and I think that's what they're meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I do believe that. Yeah. I think channeling is something that, and if I'm not even mistaken, that they've even done, some studies on stuff like that too. I mean, they've done all kinds of studies that almost prove that there's a lot of these things are real. I mean, you take remote viewing, like we was talking about earlier. I mean, hell, that was something that our American government was teaching people so they could try to remote view things for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't get much more paranormal than remote viewing, I mean, you're able to take yourself out of where you are, put yourself in a completely different place, and be able to describe the place, even describe people and things there when you're not even there. And our government participates in it. All governments do.
One guy, I can't think of his name, but he done the remote viewing for the government. They took him in.
Major Ed Dames used to be on Coast to Coast a lot back in the Art Bell days.
This guy's name was, I can't think of it, but he had done some remote viewing for NASA and the government. And I guess when they wanted him to remote view Jupiter, and he said he wouldn't do it unless he would have to be able to prove that he's seeing what he's seeing.
Right.
And there's no way to prove that from Jupiter. So NASA sends out this probe. I forget the name of the probe that goes around, but it was headed that way, and he said, "Okay, I'll do it." Well, he started doing it, and he said that there was a ring around Jupiter that was like Saturn, but it was just one ring. It was like asteroids and dust and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that one probe that they sent didn't pick it up, but another probe, I hate telling this story because I don't know it all, the names and stuff, but the second probe come in after all this was over with and said, yes, there is a ring around Saturn, and we can't see it with our eye. It's only seen by the probe.
See, that's pretty cool. And what's cool about that is that, that's something that's Googleable. I mean, someone could go on Google and say, ring around, what'd you say? No, we already know rings around Saturn, but what was it? It was around
Jupiter.
Yeah. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Let's see if I can find this guy's name. Come on.
So while you're waiting for that, I'll say this real quick. I'll say that so a special analysis of the data shows that 73% of Americans believe in at least one of the 10 items listed above that we just went through and talked about, while 27% believe in none of these items. And then a Gallup survey in 2001 provided similar results where 76% believe in at least one of the 10 items. So that's pretty neat if you really think about it.
Yeah.
That means that more people are awake than what we believe they are. Paranormal.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Paranormal.
Paranormal.
Ooh. Right, Jason?
Yeah.
So, Jason, have you heard or seen anything weird while you have been in Area 51? I've got to know this.
Oh, no. Everything seems to be normal except for the fire alarm.
That's weird. You have an ET trying to escape. I'm done with the probing, man. So Susan asks, is there anything paranormal that we have trouble believing in? What do you think, Jason? Do you have anything that you have trouble believing in?
No, I mean, as far as paranormal stuff, I don't. But as far as some of the stories that I've heard, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that it does happen, but not to that extent of some of the stories that we've heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, as far as most paranormal, I would say I believe in most paranormal. And when I say most, I think that there's some things that our imaginations, our minds are wonderful, wonderful tools, right? and are able to do all kinds of things. We was just talking about pareidolia earlier, right? They're able to do all kinds of crazy things, see crazy things, visit crazy places. And I think that when you come into Slender Man, some of these really new things, do I believe that they are here? I don't know. I mean, there's some older accounts of things that kind of maybe go along with some of these things that happen. But for me, I do believe that we can manifest stuff, right? And that's why, you know, over the days we've been doing Tuned In and talking about laws of attraction and stuff, because I believe in manifestations, but I believe that we can manifest beings that don't even exist. Because if we believe in something enough, that we can bring it into reality and give it the characteristics that we want it to have, right? And so, you know, I think that some of these things, whether they are real now because of belief in them and things like that, but I think that some of them are urban legends. You know, they're just stories that were made up to make people believe that they were real. And, you know, what was it? 2 weeks ago, I talked about the black-eyed children. And, you know, we thought that was a pretty new phenomenon, but then, you know, we've got like the story that I told of, you know, back in the 50s of that very same type of phenomenon. So, you know, it isn't something that's new. So maybe, again, maybe some of these things are, like we was talking about earlier, spirits and ghosts, or some kind of a being that wants more attention. And when something starts getting popular, they morph so they could get that attention. Oh, look at that. Roger's in the house.
Roger.
Like the rake. So Susan says she saw something, was something that was believed into being, like the rake. Yeah. I mean, Michelle says adrenochrome. Adrenochrome. We did a show on adrenochrome, didn't we? Yeah, I do though, Susan. I do believe that we can believe something so strongly that we manifest it into being. Because I think that we are very strong beings. All of us. Not some of us, not just the ones that profess to be one thing or another. I think we are all strong beings. And I think that when it comes to manifesting, if you believe hard enough, right? The Bible even says, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can tell that mountain to move it. It's got to move, right? That's what the Bible says. I think it's true. I think if you believe in something and you have faith in something, whatever it is, and you can bring that into being, you know, and it comes back to our laws of attraction, because with that, you bring things into being. Whether it's love, money, I mean, you could name whatever it is, right? A house that you want, land that you want, just whatever, a better life, right? We bring everything that comes to us, we bring to us. And so I do believe that, you know, that a lot of things are created. I won't say everything, because I do believe spirits are there, but I do believe that you can get it to a place that's old and it looks weird and you're like, oh my God, this place is definitely haunted. All these crazy things are going to happen. And you could psych yourself up and bring things into the reality that probably were not there before, but because of the way you put that energy into it, it took it, and now it is what it is that you believe it to be.
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. You have anything else that you believe may, that you kind of believe in, Jason?
No, I don't.
I'm with
pretty
you.
much.
Go ahead.
I pretty much believe in most of this paranormal stuff.
Right.
I haven't come across anything yet that wouldn't be, that don't fit.
Yeah. 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 I'm the same way. I mean, I've heard some stories, and some of them sounded really far fetched. But the thing is that one thing I'm learning as I get older is that everybody has a different perspective, right? Life is about perspective. And so what you perceive is going to be different than what someone standing right next to you perceives, because we're such different beings, in that science is actually coming. We won't get into this tonight because I've been getting really heavy into some stuff about that, but science is actually coming to believe that each and every one of us, not just some of us, each and every one of us creates our own environments that we live in daily. That everything that we see and how we perceive it is completely different from person to person. And so, I think that that falls back into the paranormal and stuff like that. What one person sees something as evil, right? Like, you hear more than half the people, or at least half the people, talk about aliens, and they're like, oh, they're here and they're bad and they're going to do all this bad stuff. I mean, who's good that anal probes you, right? And then you have the other half of the people, and they're like, well, oh no, they gave me a message, right? They said that they're here to help us, and we need to clean up our planet, and we need to live better lives, and they're here to try to raise the vibration. Me and you've had both sides of those on our show itself, right? So who's to say that either one of them's wrong? Because from each one of them's perspective, one just saw terribly bad stuff, right? Oh. And the other one got a positive experience out of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm going too deep into the subject, but.
So that project that dude worked with was the Stargate project.
Oh, Stargate. Okay.
Yeah. It was that was Army at Fort Meade, Maryland. So, and the guy's name was Ingo Swann.
Oh, Ingo Swann. Okay, I remember he was on Coast to Coast quite a few times too.
Yeah.
Back in the Art Bell days. He's no longer with us though, I don't think.
No, I'd say he's not.
Yeah, I thought he passed, but
that's 2013.
Yeah, I thought he did, because I think Art Bell was still around when he passed, because I remember Art Bell talking about it. So, if anybody on here can't realize, I was a huge Art Bell fan.
Yeah. So if you want more information on what he did, his name is Ingo Swann.
You know what's funny about him is that everybody that you hear about talk about remote viewing and stuff like that, he was like the first and the best. Like, this is the guy that he already had these ESP and a lot of stuff And so they recruited him to test this, right? And he's one of the ones who created remote viewing. And then all these other people you hear talk about they were remote viewers and stuff. Well, Ingo Swann was like the first, and they said that he was so good that his statistics were through the roof on how great he could, describe things and go in and I mean, do remote viewing stuff. But they said that he was phenomenal, and it was because he was already, I guess, a psychic, But they developed techniques where they could take ordinary people with quote unquote no psychic abilities and train them to be able to remote view. Fascinating. But it's all because of Ingo Swann. Yeah. Yeah, he was the man. As a matter of fact, that Major Ed Dames that used to come on there all the time too, he was one of the original remote viewers.
Yeah.
With Ingo and stuff. So I don't know that, that movie Men Who Stare at Goats or something like that was actually based on that. It's a funny movie. If you've not watched it, definitely watch it because it was hilarious.
So I got a quick fact for you.
Okay.
Do you know what May the 3rd is?
What is it? May the 3rd be with you? Nope, that's the 4th.
Paranormal Day.
It's Paranormal Day?
Yeah.
What?
They have a Paranormal Day. May the 3rd.
That's kind of cool. Paranormal Day.
That's when you're supposed to put on your favorite paranormal show or movies, listen to a paranormal podcast, or read stories of real life paranormal activity.
Paranormal 411. That's cool.
Yep.
May.
National Paranormal Day is all about trying to answer the questions, are these things real?
And you say that's May the 3rd?
Yep.
That's cool. May the 4th is, May the 4th be with you. So I think I can.
What about May the 5th?
I don't know what May the 5th is. It's just another day.
No salsa for daddy over here.
Oh, that's right. Cinco de Mayo, right? That's right.
Yeah.
Dang, that's 3 days in a row. I'm going to have to try to get off all 3 of those days now.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo.
Hey, can you make salsa without salt?
Yes, I can.
No sodium salsa?
I can make some no sodium salsa just for you. Sure can. You need it hot, mild, or white girl?
We'll do mild.
Mild? Okay. Yep.
I know you're hot. No.
I do, like, hot is my white girl. For me. If I made it hot for me, it would probably be like, Granny on the Beverly Hillbillies when she'd accidentally pour some of her tonic on the ground and it would steam, Yeah. Well,
so we learned anything about paranormal today?
I think so. Susan got it. May the 5th is Revenge of the 5th. LOL. That's funny. Yes. Yeah, I did. I learned that, I didn't really think about, and it's funny that 41% of the people thought about ESP in paranormal. That would not have been the first thing on my mind when I heard paranormal. I would not have thought of ESP.
I thought ESP would be like, I didn't think it would be paranormal. I thought it would be like an ability.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would have thought of that. Yeah. Like an ability or something, just like some of those others, you know? But you know, I mean, if you really think about it, it does fall into the paranormal category. So that's
Yeah.
pretty neat. That is pretty neat. So
Kind of explainable.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, so do you have anything else, Jason?
No. Just remember Paranormal Day.
Remember
May the
Paranormal
3rd.
Day, May the 3rd. That's awesome. Also, remember on Paranormal Day, a good book to read by Paranormal
Oh,
411 is East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore. It's a really good book to read on that day. I mean, it wouldn't take you 30 minutes to read the book. You know, it's got quite a few, quite a few good little stories in it, though. Some personal stories, and then some stories about our area. So it is a pretty good book. I want to thank Susan and Roger and everybody that's in the house. For tuning in, Michelle, right, and Eddie. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Remember, Legends and Lore Pizzeria in Madisonville, Tennessee. That place is awesome. Everybody that I've sent there has said, Dave, why didn't I know about this place before?
I need a Sophie and free pizza.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
probably be hard to do.
Yeah, right. You could use your clairvoyance. But no, I mean that he has good food there. I definitely
he does.
Definitely
Much
enjoy it.
good.
Right. And the wings, Lord have mercy, those things are like huge. Huge.
Yeah, the wings are good.
Yeah. Everything else is good. I've had some of his sandwiches. Oh my Lord, man. Woo. Hey, Eddie has a good one too. You know, you could read the book while you're eating at Legends and Lore Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Lord have mercy. And then you could ask Eddie to tell some stories to you, because Eddie's got all kinds of stories. I mean, some great stories. So that would be awesome too. That's why I tell everybody, you need to go talk to Eddie and ask him to tell you some stories, because he's got some good stories. Well, I think we're going to end the show then. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, that'll be fine. I'm gonna get off here and let you do it.
Well, Jason, you know, I know everybody else that's listening and going to listen, you know, hopes that you get to feeling better, brother, and you get out of Area 51 and get back to the real world with the rest of us.
Yeah, me too.
Tell ET I said hi, and you know, don't let those bad aliens out. Keep them in there. We don't want those.
The ones that their knees are bent backwards.
Yeah, those, and the ones that was in the movie with Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, none of those either. Yeah. Those are bad. Bad aliens, stay. All right, brother. Well, you have a good night. And
you too.
And thanks for jumping on here and helping out and making this easy. Susan says prayers for you and get well soon.
Thank you.
So we need you back. We need you back.
I'm getting there.
Well, you need to get to feeling better too. So that's number one. So, all right, brother, you have a good night, and we'll talk to you next time. Hopefully next week you will be feeling good and you'll be sitting right here where I'm at, and I'll be right here where this empty mic is sitting. So that's what we're gonna bring into reality, right? So
I think I'll train Michelle.
yeah.
What do you think? She can sit in the red mic.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you, she's over here shaking her head, going, "Oh no." I'll tell you, if Michelle was sitting here and I wasn't here, probably get like 5 million more listeners and watchers than looking at me for sure.
Yeah.
So all
All
right.
right, man.
All right, brother. You have a good night.
See you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Well, everybody, that was our show. We did a little bit of talking about some paranormal. What is paranormal? Kind of went through a Gallup poll talking about the paranormal and what people were polled at and stuff, and some pretty fascinating things and fascinating topics and stuff. And it kind of makes you wonder, what is paranormal, right? Like you're wondering, dang, what's paranormal? Because, I would have never have thought ESP. I really wouldn't have. And I don't know why, because now that I think about it, it's definitely paranormal, but I would have never thought about it. So, everybody have a good night. Have a good weekend. And, we'll see you next week. And hopefully Jason is with us. So then you won't just have me in the picture. You'll actually have me and Jason where we're supposed to be. So, but everybody have a good night. And we will see you next week, next Saturday. And we should start on time next week too. So 8 p.m., be there or be square. I would give you my number to text me, but you'd probably text me. So I'm not going to do that. Everybody have a good night. And we'll see you next week. And Roger says good night. Good night, Raj. Good night, everybody. And keep it paranormal. All right. See you later. Thanks for listening to the show. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Paranormal411. Join us on the website at paranormal411.org. It's free to sign up and become a member. All of our upcoming shows are on the guest and events page. You can also listen to past shows on the website as well. And if you like the show and want to support us, you can do that by becoming a premium member for only $2 a month. Thanks for listening to Paranormal 411. Join us.